Hey, I'm Cam and I've just hiked the Bibbulmun track in 21 days. This epic through hike is over 1,000 kilometers long and is located in Western Australia. It runs from the capital city in Perth all the way down to the south coast in Albany. The Bibbulmun track attracts hikers from across Australia and all over the world to experience our diverse landscapes across this epic trek. Usually hikers spend between 30 and 70 days on track to complete an end-to-end Bibbulmun. Me and my mate Mackenzie decided to challenge ourselves and go end to end in 3 weeks. We completed our goal and were able to enjoy every minute. It wasn't too fast that we couldn't smell the roses and enjoy the views along the way, but it was just fast enough that we wouldn't get too bored sitting around at huts all day. This video will recap our epic 21-day adventure and hopefully provide some useful information for those looking to hike the Bibbulmun in the future. The official distance for the Bibbulmun track is 1,005 kilometers. We use an app called Guthook for navigation purposes, which puts the hike at closer to 950 kilometers. After adding up all our Strava inputs, which we recorded every day, we did end up doing bang on 1,000 kilometers. We did have to take one trail diversion around Lake Marringup, which cut off about 12 kilometers from our end to end, but with all the extra walking through towns and to each and every single hut, we ended up doing over 1,000 kilometers in the end. We originally planned to walk end to end in 22 days, with room to go faster or slower, depending on any injuries we sustained or any weather we encountered along the way. We ended up fast tracking our hike by 1 day to complete it in 3 weeks on the dot, which ended up changing a few of our days that we had planned. We also only planned to stay 2 nights off the track while walking through towns, but ended up staying 4 nights with a warm bed and a shower, which also changed up a few of the days we had planned. I've shared our original daily plan as well as the actual daily route we took each day in the description below if you want to compare the two and see what changes we made. The main changes were lengthening our first couple days to accommodate staying in Peaceful Bay, which we didn't originally plan to do. We also changed up a couple days around Donnelly River Village and Balingup to accommodate staying in the backpackers in those towns. The last major changes we made were lengthening our last 3 or 4 days when we got close to Perth to accommodate shaving 1 day off our trek. We were always prepared to make changes throughout the hike as we knew unexpected things would pop up. Looking back at how we paced our 21-day Bibbulmun end to end, I wouldn't really change much and I'm really happy with how we did it. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you're interested in how each day exactly played out. We did stay 4 nights off track in a warm bed, but the majority of our nights were spent at the Bibbulmun campsites. There are 49 campsites dotted along the Bibbulmun track, and we were lucky enough to stay at some absolute stunners. These are my top 5 campsites along the Bibbulmun track. Before I list my top 5 campsites, I've also linked a resource in the description below which lists the reception you get at every single hut on the Bibbulmun track. As a content creator, I was posting stories and pictures on Instagram along the hike, and so I made sure to note down how much reception we got at every single hut. It might help you with your planning at which huts you want to stay at, depending whether you want to be online or offline, so feel free to check that out below. My 5th favourite hut was Rame Head Hut on the south coast near Warrpool. The campsite has sweeping views of the adjacent coastline and coastal brush, and you'll also get good reception inside the hut. Despite there being no campfires allowed in the south coast huts, you'll still get some epic views after a long day of hiking with the sun setting over the beautiful Indian Ocean right next to the hut. My 4th favourite hut, and I've grouped 3 huts into this one, is Helena, Barracking and Wali. These 3 huts are located in the Perth Hills and have absolutely epic views of the hills and valleys that make up the beautiful Darling Scarp. We went through in spring and wildflowers were everywhere. We got some banging sunsets and I absolutely loved the Perth Hills. So staying at these huts was awesome. Number 3 was Mount Chance. We came into Mount Chance campsite soaking wet after a long day slogging through the Pingarup Plains. We were happy to find that there was reception, and after a short climb up to the summit of Mount Chance, you get unbelievable 360 views of the plains, and it's an epic sunset spot as well. Number 2 was Warren Hut. Warren Hut was one of many absolutely stunning huts located within the old growth Karri and Tingle forests. I picked Warren as my favourite because it's located up the top of a hill amongst massive karri trees and the views are next level. There was a big pile of wood already cut up for us when we got there, so we had an epic campfire, and the reception as well gets through right to the hut. And my favorite hut on the track was Monadnock's. It's one of the hardest to pronounce, but in my opinion, it was absolutely awesome. You're up pretty high, just coming down off the Mount Cook ridgeline, so the views of the ridge and surrounding mountains are awesome. You'll get full bars of reception, which when we got there was a breath of fresh air, and the surrounding forest and bushland is stunning. There are so many awesome huts along the Bibbulmun, you'll be hard pressed to find one that's not absolutely beautiful. I want to quickly go over my top 5 sections of the track as well while we're here. Number 5 was the south coast, and I can't pick a specific section, but the whole section of the track between Albany and Walpole is awesome. You'll walk past some stunning secluded beaches that pretty much have only access from the Bibbulmun track, and we saw some epic sunsets along the coast in Denmark and Albany as well. Number 4 was the Mount Cook ridgeline. I'd actually never climbed Mount Cook before I hiked the Bibbulmun track, which is crazy because I love mountains and it's the tallest point in Perth. But getting up to the top of Mount Cook and hiking along the ridge to multiple other mountains as well was a highlight experience for me along the Bibbulmun. My third favourite section on the Bibbulmun track was the Perth Hills. I'm a sucker for Perth bushland, and walking into the Darling Scarp and the Perth region was absolutely awesome. It became super familiar that we were finally in Perth, and being spring, the wildflowers and the bushlands were super lush and absolutely stunning. My top 2 sections along the Bib are pretty similar, and I don't think many people would disagree with these. Number 2 is the giant tingle forests located around Walpole, and number 1 is the old growth Karri forests between Northcliffe and Pemberton. Walking through these forests is like nothing else you'll see in Western Australia, and some of my favourite days walking on the track were through these giant ancient trees, and I won't forget those days anytime soon. Alongside these diverse landscapes and sections of the Bibbulmun track also came a wild variety of animals and plants as well. We kept track of most of the interesting animals we saw, which I'll share with you guys now, but of course we saw about 1 million kangaroos, emus, kookaburras, and just so many birds, small mammals, and unlimited wildflowers. I wish I could name you all of the individual species, but I'm not that way inclined. Some of the more interesting animals we did see is we saw 1 echidna, we saw a couple of wild boars, and we saw 10 snakes in total across the trek. I know you guys are waiting to see the full adventure from start to finish. That'll be coming very soon in my next video, so stay tuned for that. I'll also be going over all my gear and my nutrition in detail in another video coming soon, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this recap video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for those future upcoming videos of the Bibbulmun track. If you guys get anything out of my content and wanted to support me further, I also have a Patreon account as well. You can throw as little as $3 a month my way to get access to a bunch of behind the scenes content, including a bunch of behind the scenes content from the Bibbulmun trek. The link to that will be in the description below as well, guys. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.